Let's go. Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. I'm with the Wolf, and it's another wonderful day in paradise with a wonderful week with Equity Story. And this is just a general share advice and not to be taken personally, or not personal advice. It's general share advice, not personal advice. You know what I mean?
Good start to the week.
Yeah, it's a good start. Right, Wolf. Let's go through some of these stories because a number of companies announcing today. Are there any buys out there now? Let's look at gold. DEG trending quite nicely. For me, it's a sell below 140 if I was trending it. I found another little gold vein. Any good?
Not bad, but I agree with you. I think under 140 you're selling because the gold is still fairly at the moment.
All right, ADA. So they say the charts don't lie, but that price action implied it was going to go lower. The result was good, but there's a warning sign in there, and when you read it, I've never seen such a good result with such a sort of bearish sentiment from the management. They're really warning about these supply constraints. And I'm a little bit shocked with that, Wolf, to be honest with you, right? Because I'm under the impression these supply constraints are starting to lift around the world.
Yeah, and I think they are, but at least give kudos to the company. Keep warning, the investors out there. It's better than just hiding it somewhere and then it all of a sudden it's a shock, right?
No, I agree, but I'm still surprised that they're not saying the supply constraints have been bad and they look like they're getting better. The impression I got from reading the article was like, it's really, really bad and there's no signs that it's getting better.
Look, maybe, but maybe they also give themselves an out if things go wrong. So this is one of those, give yourself optionality. If in 6 months' time, maybe something doesn't quit up, it was the supply constraints.
Yeah, I know.
But I agree. I agree. I think there is a little bit of scarediness in that announcement, but overall, it was pretty good, right? The headline numbers were pretty positive, so I'm pretty happy. And for the first time, Dave, for a long time, the charts did lie.
Well, well, hold on a second. The week's not over yet. I'll tell you on Friday if the charts lied.
No, but normally on an announcement like this, right, the charts going, then announcement's going to be bad, but it actually wasn't that bad. It was actually not bad.
Yeah, but I think people inside the company, right, or this talk was selling it down because they know these supply constraints.
All right, look, well, let's see what it is of the week. Whether
I'm not so convinced yet.
Fair enough.
All right.
I'm jumping at too early at this, but
maybe
it's a good first reaction, right? Positive reaction.
Yeah, maybe more sort of IAG, which has actually held the trend line by the skin of its. Skin of its.
Dave, I thought it was going to come back. That was just a one-off thing with the problems in New Zealand. That it had a one-off hit, but generally speaking, the actual numbers were pretty good because in this higher interest rate environment, they should be doing quite well, and they are.
All right. AZJ, it's a sell. Wolf, that's a very disappointing announcement.
Yeah, very disappointing.
It's going to be cyclical a little bit, isn't it, this story? But I mean, the dividends got lower. I mean,
you think that they have fairly long-term type arrangements with all these bloody miners out there that they can just keep, railing all these coal and everything else out there. But it just seems not working for them at the moment, is it?
That's all right. And if you're in it, you've got to get out of it. Okay.
Yeah, you've got to get out.
IMD. You didn't mind that announcement. Listen,
not bad, but you know what? There's better stories out there, to be honest. If you look at the actual financials, it's not cheap either. So I don't know. If you're in this, what do you do? Just play maybe the charts on here.
Yeah, if you're long term, it's still a hold. If you're short term, find something else.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, car.
Yep.
So this is a story that we are trending. You like the story.
Yep.
We're targeting that 24. It's what do you make? What do you think of the?
I like the announcement, Dave. I really like the announcement. So it was quite mixed because they did the Trading Interactive, the other half purchase of it because they bought the 51%, now bought the other 49%. So for me, it was there was a big boost from that Trading Interactive. But overall, if you look at the underlying numbers, I think the EPS went up 14%. So generally speaking, Dave, the company is actually growing its margins, growing its revenues. It's nothing, outstanding, growing by 50%, but I'm happy with that bit 10 and 20%. This is a very solid tech stock. I really like this long term. So for me, if it comes back to the 21, I'm a long-term nibble on this. Long-term nibble. Remember, guys.
All right. It just might struggle again with obviously tech looking weak.
Exactly. Exactly.
Appin, like I said, don't pick bottoms, down 9%.
Yeah. Dave, I told us, people are asking about on Friday, this is going up. No, this is still going in a really difficult position at the moment. So just if you're in this for a quick trade, get out.
And who would be in that?
Well,
none of our members.
Hopefully no one.
Right, JB Hi-Fi.
Yes.
Hi-Fi.
I like this announcement. The only problem is, Dave, this is the 12 twos halves, right? So announcement was really strong. The problem is the January update. So the update they gave was pretty flat. There was just no growth, which I think confirms what the retail sales were like. I think a couple of weeks ago when the retail figures were released, where it actually went backwards significantly. So there was a spook the market a bit, right?
Well,
this is exactly what he's telling you.
Yeah, you've seen a little bit of that around January, haven't it? The market's pulling back a little bit.
Yep.
And now with the RBA being a little bit tougher with interest rates and a little bit more bearish, and I think they're doing the right thing, Wolf. They're scaring the market, which it's much better they scare us than they actually do it, right? So, I think all this sort of rhetoric like, don't worry, guys, we're going to have a soft landing. I don't think it stops people from spending. I think what stops people from spending is when the RBA come out and go, we're going full health here, guys. We're going to go. We're going to go lift this interest rates through the roof, right? I think that scares people, and I think we need more of that sort of rhetoric from the RBA. None of this sort of nicey soft landing stuff, which is just causes more and more headaches.
But now, Dave, overall, JB Hi-Fi's still a great dividend stock because it's raising dividends. You're still pretty happy with obviously the January start has been very flat. So you've got to, you can see why there's a bit of a sell-off.
Now, Vulcan. Obviously, have you got 2.5 billion, Wolf?
Dave, great marketing. I love that presentation today. A+ for marketing. The details, unfortunately, is probably where I get a little bit nervous. $2.5 billion in capex, and that's just for the phase 1, right? So, I'm not sure this is going to get up. And they've got still a lot of things to tick off. Pass for me.
All right. So you won't lend them the 2.5 billion.
No, I don't think so. I would. I'd rather go somewhere else. But good luck. Look, good luck to them. But I can't still see this ever getting up, ever.
Well, surely Gina will chip in a bit.
Yeah, maybe from her own pocket, maybe. Look, I'm never going to discount anything, right? Because maybe Gina could potentially do it. But on the numbers that I see today, no.
All right, EDV. So good price action, bouncing a trend. I'm not buying this yet. But what's your take on this one, Wolf?
I think, Dave, what you normally say about the booze industry, when they go and get stuff, everyone goes and drinking. There you go. There is your proof in the pudding right there. So, pretty good numbers, I have to say. And maybe there'll be a trade, but I don't think I'd be buying on this announcement. I think I just give it a 200 in the week and see where it's at.
All right. MM1, a little lithium play. Listen, I'm not interested in that chart myself.
And I know, Dave, I just have to quickly mention is that the Canada lithium is hot at the moment. We've seen it with Patriot. We've seen it with WL1. We've seen it with Cosmos. And they've seen it with, I think, BMM also. This is another one. Everyone's just rushing towards Canada and its lithium. This is not good. All
right. HMX, again, if you're in this, get out. Not that impressed.
Yeah, not good enough results.
Again, LIC, not good enough. If you're in it, get out.
Yep.
JLG, I'm just saying that Wolf's actually, in all fairness, you've had this as your sort of long-term play.
Yeah, I have.
And you're saying it's a nibble if it gets to $5. Now, there's a good announcement today. For the long-termers, the JLG, it confirms your theory of nibbling this around 5. Fill us in, Wolf. What's happening?
Yeah, so Citi rates GLG initiation coverage. So this is the first time they looked at this by the looks of things as a buy, right, on JLG. So Citi has got fairly good coverage out there. Price target of 877, Dave. That's up there, right? But I love the language here. So this is always, don't worry about the price target. I love the language here. So language says, the increasing severity of the frequency of catastrophic events, which obviously we've seen, a market-leading position with a competitive edge, big plus, right? Significant upside potential in strata and US expansion. Yep, that's what they've done recently. Underpinning a positive view. So catastrophic events across Australia and US remain on an upward trajectory, translate to elevated levels of contributions for Johns Lyng. So basically they're saying that they're looking to grow at about 11% compound annual growth since 1994. This is brilliant, Dave. What a company.
Yeah. Well, you know what we might do, Wolf? We haven't put any monthly trends on, right?
Oh, God.
So we're going to put this on a monthly. I reckon you buy around 575. You have that 3-year view. Yep. If it goes under 5, you get out, right? Mm-hmm. And you target 8. I mean, you've got good risk reward for a long-term investment.
Yeah, you do. You do. And like I said, this is one of the better long-term investments. You feel comfortable because you know they've got lots of work in hand, right? You know that the catastrophic events are not going to go away. They're probably going to get increasing frequency, like they're saying here. This is a company that's possibly should do very well over a long period of time.
All right. And Wolf, lastly but not least, SWM, 7 West Media, talking about amalgamating with another company.
Yeah, HDNE, another one that's listed in Australia. So they're looking to form a $1 billion media company, right? So pretty interesting. That potentially could weigh on the actual share price. So, you know, if I'm in this, I'm probably getting out and just sitting on the sidelines.
Excellent, Wolf. I just having a look at LYL. So that was the hot stock. You know what? I thought the charts this weekend were pretty poor, to be honest with you. I had a look on Friday. I wasn't that impressed. This was a standout. And again, I'm leaning towards those companies that are paying good dividends, that are not expensive, that are in the right sector. And this is one.
Oh, you're a good boy, aren't you? You're such a fundamentalist.
And a good chart. And that was another one that had a buy signal actually 2 weeks ago. Look at that starting to go through, right?
Yeah,
so
well.
Now, Wolf, just a little bit of fun. Can I have a little bit of fun with you, right?
Oh, God.
I just CNN, it's your favorite channel, right? According to you, it's the only one that tells the truth, right? Okay.
Welcome back to the CNN Newsroom. I'm Jim Acosta in Washington on this busy Saturday afternoon, and we begin this hour with an unsettling new development in the skies over Canada. NORAD says it is monitoring a high-altitude airborne object, and military aircraft are currently operating in the area from Alaska and Canada. This follows yesterday's shoot-down of another high-altitude object 10 miles off the northeastern coast of Alaska near the Canadian border. And CNN national security reporter Natasha Bertrand joins us now. Natasha, what can you tell us about this latest object? And we have to keep underlining and highlighting the point that this is not what we were talking about yesterday off the coast of Alaska. This is a new object that we're talking about.
This is a new object that NORAD has apparently detected over northern Canada. And actually, Justin Trudeau, the Canadian leader, just tweeted that he did order the takedown of that unidentified object that he says had violated Canadian airspace. Now, interestingly, in this tweet, Trudeau also said that Canadian and U.S. aircraft were scrambled and that it was a U.S. F-22 that actually successfully fired at this object. So, again, we are just getting in right now that NORAD and working with the Canadian government, they have identified yet another high-altitude object. Unclear what it is. Is it a balloon? Is it a drone over northern Canada? And, of course, this comes just one day after we learned that the U.S. did shoot down yet another high-altitude object over Alaska.
Right.
So clearly, the policy now seems to be that when one of these things is entering U.S. or Canadian airspace, they are going to weigh whether or not to take action here. In both instances, they have shot these objects down. Of course, it comes just 1 week after we saw the Chinese spy balloon shot down.
Yeah, they're not waiting for it to fly over, large portions of North America anymore. It sounds as though things have changed. And I don't know if we may be moving too quickly to put these tweets up on screen from the Canadian Prime Minister, but it says that he ordered the takedown of this unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace, as you were just saying. And the Prime Minister is also saying he spoke with President Biden this afternoon. Canadian forces will recover and analyze the wreckage of this object. Thank you to NORAD for keeping an eye on North America. So this is, we were talking to Bob Baer about this in the previous hour, and he was sort of scratching his head and wondering what is going on here. Is it the fact that we're just monitoring for this stuff more closely, and now we're seeing these objects, or is something happening in terms of the frequency of these objects and why they're coming into our airspace?
You know, it's a great question, and it could be a combination of both. It could be that because of all of the public criticism that was leveled at the Biden administration, for example, for not alerting the fact that this Chinese spy balloon was over the continental U.S. more quickly, that now they are being more public about all of the objects they are seeing in U.S. and Canadian airspace. However, we just don't know, and the big mystery, of course, at the center of all this is what these objects actually are and why aren't they being identified at the time that they are being shot down. I mean, this one that was over northern Canada, you know, there's been nothing said about whether it was manned, for example, although it is unlikely that it was if they...
All right, Wolf.
Yes.
So my question is,
Yes.
right, why are we shooting down the aliens?
I don't
Because
know.
they've been
All the
fine.
aliens are going, we just want to monitor you guys.
Well, they've been fine for years, right? The poor little aliens have done nothing wrong. They've been flown over. We know that, and now we're shooting them down. Is this going to be good for gold?
Or is it going to be good for humanity if the aliens start to attack?
Well, I don't know. Or is Biden trying to divert attention
Maybe
from other scandals which are apparently coming out? He thinks he's time he took on the aliens.
Maybe.
All right.
It's hilarious. All of a sudden, there's just so many identifying flying objects around, isn't there? They're shooting them down. I'd be scared if I was on a plane.
But they said the airline pilots, the ones that shot them down, they said it was like a really weird looking object that affected their sonar on the planes. And but now it crashed in the UCAN, and now they're going to pick up the pieces, and it could be obviously some type of Russian drone. Who knows, right? But it's a little bit strange, Wolfie. A little bit.
Yeah, look, I think it's espionage at its finest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope. Let's hope you're right. Yeah, because okay. Well, we'll notice anyway. If it is aliens, we'll start seeing the gold price shooting up, won't we?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Huge spike.
All right. On that note, one buy today. That's it. All right. Thanks, Wolfie.
Thanks.
See you, mate. Bye. Bye.
Bye.